Hello, it's that time again. Welcome to Night B of the Rose Theater's first ever Digital Young Playwrights Festival. My name is Jay Hayden, and I'm a teaching artist at the Rose who's had the distinct pleasure of working with our group of young playwrights nearly every Saturday morning for the past 8 months. Between our live stream this past Wednesday and tonight, we'll be showcasing the work of 9 immensely talented teen playwrights from the Omaha metro area. Showcasing this work are 22 amazing youth actors, both from the Omaha area and beyond. Now, sometimes at the Rose, we like to lovingly refer to our teens and theater productions as being rated PG-13, and this also applies to young playwrights. And I bring that up just so those of you at home are aware of some of the content we might see in our shows tonight. This is also usually the part where I tell you to turn off your cell phones and the location of the nearest restrooms and things like that, but that's on a bit of a case-by-case basis at this point, so I hope you'll manage. As part of our festival tonight, we'll be showcasing 4 scripts. Shells by Raleigh Kreis, The Storyteller by Rachel Radloff, Trencham by Joe Godel, and Out for Blood by Otto Fox. Our first script tonight is Shells by Raleigh Kreis. Shells is a depiction of the adolescence of Mary Anning, a 19th century paleontologist who was the alleged origin of the famous phrase, "She sells seashells by the seashore." Raleigh is a recent graduate of Duchesne Academy and will be heading to Tulane University in the fall on a full scholarship. For those of you at home, we ask for your patience as we set up our first reading. Thank you. Shells by Raleigh Kreis. Scene 1. Mary stands alone in the middle of the Anning household. Molly enters from the street.
Mother?
Thank you, Minister, for your kindness and counsel. Our family needs all during this past few difficult weeks.
Molly turns away from the street, clutching a small envelope.
Darling, how are you?
I'm fine. I was simply getting ready.
Ready to do what?
To go.
Get yourself a job, I hope? I need you to muster a pretty face and polite demeanor. I need you to find a position. 11 years isn't too young to start working, and since your father's passing, the finances have been a little tight.
A position?
Yes, housekeeping or cleaning or odd jobs. Hopefully one of the ladies in this town could use an extra hand to keep their residences in ship shape.
Ship shape?
Yes, they could at least spare some coin to help, and you can spare the elbow grease, dear.
I can. I can do whatever you need, Mother. Where should I start?
You and Henrietta are still close, right?
Closer than ever?
The De La Becks should have some money to spare, or at least another bedroom that could use dusting.
You want me to beg work from my best friend?
Certainly not. You'll approach the lady of the house, not her daughter. Well, what are you waiting for, Mary?
Nothing. I'll do whatever you need.
Mary heads toward the front door, resigned.
Good. I'll want you back for supper. And Mary?
Yes?
Don't get sidetracked now. You're not to visit the seashore or the cliffs. At all.
Why?
I'm your mother. My job is to love you, which means protecting you and keeping this family in order. Your job is to obey me. I don't need a reason for you to do what I asked.
Do you even understand what you're asking of me?
Mary Anning, you're the one who must understand, not me. Your father
wanted his daughter to dream.
Your father died because of his fossiling and curio-selling endeavors. He died because of those cliffs. Because of that shoreline littered with inane trinkets. You have to be alive to dream, Mary. Just listen to me.
I don't know if I can.
Resolutely, Mary opens the front door, steps out, and shuts it behind her with a jolt of bitterness. Molly steps toward the door, touches the door handle.
That's not the daughter I raised. The one who talks back, who storms out of our home with no excess of grace. I thought I raised a lady, not a tempest.
Molly pauses, turning from the door to the fossil bag that still contains the pickaxe intended for Mary.
Except she is the daughter he raised. The daughter I watched totter in his every footstep. His daughter rejoiced in every rough, sandy excursion, whose smile made him smile.
Molly touches the bag, softly lifting it up with reminiscence.
Richard, you're not here anymore to see any of us smile. Not that we're smiling much. I'm managing or trying to manage, but you're not here.
Molly pulls the envelope out of a fold in her skirt.
This is, though, this packet of obligations. You left us debt, totaling more pounds than I've seen in my entire life. You left us a house we do not own. You left us adrift in hard times. I know this was not what you wanted, not what we dreamed. I know that I cannot blame you for it, though I'm not quite sure what I can do, so I'm managing, but not well. Things are heavier because you're not here.
Molly remembers, pulling out the pickaxe.
I left your gift in its wrappings. I know I promised, but you're not here because of the same treacherous path you'd have our daughter walk. I cannot allow that. You know how dangerous life is without the added risk of pounding waves and crumbling cliffs. I will not bestow your kiss of death on our daughter. I'm sorry, but you're not here.
Molly slowly tucks the pickaxe back into the bag and hangs the fossil bag back on the wall. Molly turns away, and the lights dim as Molly exits. Scene 2. Mary stands, hands on hips, in the living room. Joe glares at her from across the room.
It's been a month of this, Joe, of you hustling and bustling and barking at everyone.
It's been a stressful series of weeks.
You're allowed to be stressed, but you are not allowed to forget my awkward 14-year-old brother who stumbled into a tidal pond and got his trousers sopping wet.
I'd love if we could all forget that.
Not a chance.
It's been a long month.
A month of me coming home covered in soot and grime. Ugh.
Are you seriously complaining? I come home every day covered in sawdust and pricked with upholstery needles.
I'm not complaining. I just feel lost. I miss when the dirt on my skirt was from sand from the shore. I miss
him too. But we have to keep working. Ma needs all the help we can give her.
For how long? I know Mother needs our assistance, but I do not know why.
We've never been like Henrietta's family, Mary.
Don't chastise me, Joe. I've never anticipated a move to the upper end of town. We wouldn't have nearly as a good view of the ocean if we did so.
Sometimes a view so good, I can see the sea rushing over our floorboards.
That's not my point. I know we're not the best off, but our neighbors aren't either. Lizzie Beckett doesn't work as a maid in her rich best friend's house.
Lizzie's Beckett's father is still alive.
There has to be more than that. Sure, it felt like someone pulled my feet out from under me when Pa died, but it cannot have torn up the foundations of our entire life in one fell swoop.
Can you be so short-sighted, so as not to see Mother dashing off letters, consulting the church minister, and scanning our family accounts in desperation?
I am not short-sighted, Joe, just uninformed. Mother won't tell me what's going on, and you have been too high and mighty to let me in on the issue.
Pa left us in debt, 120 pounds of it. Without his income, we're struggling to make ends meet. let alone pay rent on the house or pay off the money.
That's a lot.
Well observed, Mary. So maybe cut mother and me some slack, or better yet, get some perspective and contribute to our family's crisis.
I will.
I'm sorry this is the way things are. I'm sorry we cannot change it.
Joe moves toward the door stage left.
I'm gonna go get some sleep, so I'm refreshed for work in the morning.
On my way home, I heard tell that it would storm tonight. I hope the thunder doesn't wake you.
I hope so too. Good night.
Joe exits left. Mary sits exhausted. A storm brews in the window beyond the table. Lights dim as night falls and the storm evolves. Mary turns to the window.
The only perspective I ever needed.
Mary reaches beyond the window and the sea cliffs beyond as another crack of lightning illuminates the view like some brilliant aura. Suddenly, Mary turns from the window, decisively exiting left. The sound of the storm fills the stage for a beat until Mary re-enters, clutching her shell basket and planting a wide-brimmed bonnet on her head. Mary strides toward the street door, pausing only to grab her father's fossil bag from where it hangs. Mary exits out the front door. Thunder rolls. Blackout. Scene 3. The cliffside beaches as dawn breaks. Mary enters, determined, yet cautious.
Good to see you again.
Mary sets down her materials tentatively.
I must admit we parted on bad terms. You took someone from me. You stole a father from his family. Pa always knew you would give and take and give and take. I say, you've taken enough. It's time to give.
Mary presses her hand against the sand. Mary shifts, opening the fossil bag and pulling out the pickaxe. Mary studies it a moment, wraps her hand around it, and closes her eyes.
I'll dream for you, Pa. I'll make something of this. I swear.
Mary dabs her eyes, grips the pickaxe firmly, and stands. Mary immediately begins scanning her terrain, looking for a find, falling into the familiar pattern of curious adventure. Mary becomes visibly intrigued, holding up the large ammonite and holding it in front of her face. Scene 4. Weeks later, mid-afternoon, the cliffside beaches. Mary enters, head set on finding more fossils. Mary kneels in a spot, dusting sand off a shell. A bit behind her, the skull of an ichthyosaur fossil peeks out of the cliff scenery. Mary doesn't yet notice it or her brother as Joe enters.
It's almost dinner time.
I have an explanation.
I'm sure you would, but I don't want to hear it. My eyes can tell me enough.
Don't tell Mother.
Don't tell mother what? That you're going behind her back, beachcombing, again, against her wishes.
Yes,
You agreed
I
that...
didn't agree. I resigned myself.
Did you?
I resigned myself to the fact that Ma wouldn't understand.
Aren't you taking this seriously?
This is one of the most serious things in my life. Joe, this is my life.
No, it is not. Your life
Stop it!
consists of...
Stop it, Joe. Stop.
Stop what?
Stop acting like I'm not contributing to this family. That fossiling is inherently evil and I'm inherently selfish.
I don't think that.
You don't seem to have a problem implying it though. I thought you would understand this, Joe.
What is there to understand?
Pa took us both fossiling when we were younger. It was something we did together. Where did that go, Joe?
Pa isn't here.
Don't you think I know that?
Pa isn't here, and you're not going to find him in these shells and trinkets. You'll find him in what's left of this family.
That doesn't appear to be much.
You can't say that!
Yes, I can. We are living half lives, but I'm trying to build a future here, Joe.
Here, a future built out of the cliffs and sands that killed our father.
A future that's more than dust and dreams.
No, your future is only dreams. You'll never make it more than that. You have to learn.
What do you know? The extra coin I've been bringing home? That is from these shells, these fossils, these cliffs. I've been fossiling every afternoon once I'm done at Henrietta's. Can you at least understand that?
Mary's fiery words press Joe back until he stumbles over the ichthyosaur skull. Mary grabs Joe before he falls over. Mary spots the skull and pushes Joe out of her way. Mary stoops over the skull immediately.
What is it? A crocodile or a dragon?
I sincerely doubt that you just tripped over a dragon. Though, it's certainly something.
Something big and creepy.
It's not creepy. Oh, it's wonderful. Joe, don't you realize what this means?
That these cliffs birth monsters in addition to killing fathers?
That skull is a gift, a discovery, a peace offering. Wait. Just think how much one of those London tourists would pay for the monster in the cliffs. Just think.
They'd pay.
They'd pay a lot. Joe, you have to let me excavate it.
Ma won't like it. She has good reason to be worried about this.
Ma is worried about me fossiling, but she's worried about everything these days. She doesn't even have to know until it's done. And I'll be as cautious as ever.
You'll be cautious.
And Joe,
What now?
this is how we fix things.
You can start on your monster tomorrow.
Mary has a silent celebration as Joe turns, resolved, and exits back the way he came. Mary looks back at the ichthyosaur skull, and the lights dim. Scene 5. Lights rise on the seaside beaches many months later. Things have changed. The fossil is no longer a work in progress, but a full skeleton. Joe stands proudly next to Mary, just behind the specimen. A crowd frames the fossil, clamoring with excitement. Joe turns, cupping his hands over his mouth to shout.
Mary Anning's monster! Come see the creature from the cliffs!
Joe whisks out a small cup and starts to suggest crowd members put their coins in, like a street magician might pass around a hat.
Extraordinary comes in all shapes and sizes.
An extraordinary fury comes in one particular size and shape.
Joe grabs Mary's arm and directs her attention to where Molly enters.
What on earth is all this fuss about?
Some local gal has found a creature in the sea cliffs. It's never before seen.
Mrs. Anning, your daughter is quite something. And that monster of hers, golly.
Monster?
Molly pushes her way past the crowd members to see Mary and Joe.
Joseph, Mary, we are leaving. Right now. We're going home.
This is my home.
No! This is a death trap. Pick up your childish tools. We are leaving. And don't talk back to me again.
Molly turns to the crowd, speaking to the audience as well.
You should go as well. Leave this place. I swear my daughter will no longer make herself a spectacle with her silly bundle of bones. I apologize for the distraction. Joseph, Mary Anning, don't make me come over there.
Molly steps toward her children, closer to the fossil situated between them. Molly sneers down at the ichthyosaur and then raises her foot, prepared to step on it.
Wait, Mother!
Don't do that!
Who are you to tell me what to do with myself? You are my children. Do you know no obedience?
We are your children, yes. But I've spent my days sweating in a upholstery shop, and my nights organizing the account books, trying to keep our accumulating debt from your pile of worries.
Then what is this rebellion now?
Joe crosses, backing Molly away from the ichthyosaur. Joe points back at the fossil.
This is Mary's contribution, and you are about to crush it under your foot. Mary, tell Mother what you've told me. What you've been doing for the past year.
I've done what Father would have wanted me to do.
You don't get to use my husband as an excuse. You can't.
No, Mom. He's not my excuse. He's my reason. I'm done excusing myself. I'm done apologizing.
You're also done mouthing off. You're done gallivanting around like some rambunctious boy child bound for danger. You are my daughter. It's time you started acting like a lady. One who knows her place.
I'm never going to be a lady. I don't know how to tell you this, Mother. I'm not going to master the art of split pea soup or mending socks. I'm not going to fetch a nice husband who lives in a nice house. All I want to fetch are these stunning shells and fossils from these cliffs. I'm much more likely to succeed in discovering scientific wonders than the secrets of a stinky boy's heart. Give me a pickaxe, not a frying pan. Let me be a scientist, a fossil hunter, not some far-fetched fantasy of a lady that will get me nowhere but boredom.
How you are talking and what you are doing will get you nowhere but trouble.
Maybe I won't live tight and secure in a palace, but I will reign over a kingdom of curiosity. My heart has already built a home in these cliffs and on this shore. This work is important to me.
It's important for all of us. Do you remember when Lady de la Bec gave Mary a raise?
For doing good, honest work.
Well, my work was good and honest.
But the money didn't come from Henrietta's household.
Travelers and tourists, they'll buy the ammonites and belmites, the snake stones and thunderbolts as souvenirs. It's a viable business plan.
Molly stretches out a hand to Mary.
You speak with your father's voice, his passion, and his dangerous curiosity. I've lost so much. I cannot risk you too.
Mary picks up her pickaxe.
Sometimes we have to take risks to make discoveries.
Discoveries only bring more risk.
We have to take risks to survive, to keep this family afloat, to stare face to face with a monster, with the unknown, and feel nothing but certainty.
You're certain?
This is a future. This is my future.
Birch steps forward from the crowd.
Excuse me?
No, excuse me, ma'am. I should introduce myself. Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Birch, retired military man and avid fossil collector.
How can we help you?
My associates from the Royal Geological Society in London informed me of a very special fossil in the town of Lyme Regis, discovered by some brilliant girl.
Birch shuffles forward and stoops over the fossil, overcome with curiosity.
He seems to have been right on both accounts. Are you Mary?
Mary steps forward, joining Birch by the fossil.
Yes, Mary Anning.
Well, Miss Anning, you really have something here.
I know.
Of course. You've managed to uncover a specimen and you've preserved it so well. Tremendous.
I've even made sketches.
Spectacular. I'd love to see them, but first we must negotiate.
Birch turns to Molly.
I presume you are the guardian of this budding paleontologist?
Yes, Mary is my daughter.
A daughter to be proud of.
Yes.
Certainly, I suspect her find here, this bundle of bones, as you so lovingly called it, may be more significant than any sum of coin I might produce.
Just how significant?
What exactly do you mean?
I see you're interested.
Birch pulls out a small sack of currency.
This is my discretionary fund for collection. Here.
Birch hands the money to Molly.
We cannot accept this.
Driving a hard bargain, I see. Well, with such a monumental discovery, there's no reason I can't call that a deposit and post you the rest once I get the fossil back to London.
No, it cannot be worth.
We will accept your offer.
Joe steps forward, offering his hand as if he knows what he's doing.
Wonderful. I'll send my men in a few days to package up the fossil for shipment.
Birch shakes hands with Joe before turning back to Mary.
How old are you again?
I'm 12, sir.
12, and so much life ahead of you. Mary Anning, it would be an honor to do business with you in the future, should you make any more finds.
Birch extends his hand to Mary, and she accepts it.
Keep dreaming, Mary. Keep taking risks. The world of science shall always depend on young men and women like you.
With a nod to Molly, Birch exits. Crowd members slowly disperse, leaving Mary grinning. Molly smiles, something she hasn't done for a year.
I'm sorry.
Ma?
I'm sorry for what this past year has been for you and your brother.
You don't need to apologize.
But I do. And I think the person I need to apologize to most is, well, he's not here.
Yes, he is. Don't you see him in the waves, in the ripples, in the sand, in the way Joe squints into the sun?
Ma, we're here. We're right where Pa wants us to be. Together.
We've been scattered or shattered, a shell of a family since he died. I'm sorry for not seeing what you've been trying to do, Mary. I'm sorry for putting so much pressure on you both. I'm sorry for doing nothing more than managing. Can you forgive me?
Of course we forgive you.
Of course.
Mary, Molly, and Joe embrace. Molly holds out the coin purse.
What do you suppose we do with this?
Well, from the sound of it, it's enough money to clear the debt and to get us through the year.
That is true, Joseph. But first,
Molly fishes out some coins and places them in Mary's hand.
this is a down payment on your fossil shop. Anning Fossil Company. That was always your father's dream.
And now it is mine. Thank you.
Mary closes her hand around the money, looks back out at the cliffs and the sea, and then she looks down at her ichthyosaur. Blackout. The lights come back up, faintly. Mary stands alone against the dark, still in character, though now unbound by time.
This is only my beginning. These cliff faces witnessed my life and my death, gave me my greatest accomplishments and my greatest sorrows.
Molly enters.
A litany of Latin names, perfect specimens, uncovered and recorded by my daughter.
Molly takes Mary's hand. Joe enters.
Ichthyosaur, plesiosaur, pterodactylus. Mary merits credit for so many discoveries that changed the framework for understanding prehistoric life.
Extinction, evolution. I laid the groundwork. I did the legwork.
Crowd person 1 and crowd person 2 enter.
Professors and other paleontologists all acknowledged she understood more of the science than anyone else in this kingdom.
They even called her the Princess of Paleontology.
Birch enters.
I bought many of Mary's fossils and distributed them to collections across the continent. Eventually, I auctioned off my entire collection for her family's benefit. No one deserved it more.
My daughter was the greatest fossilist the world ever knew. I ran her business, determined she'd get the payment and the credit she deserved for braving the beaches day after day.
Despite my mother's best efforts and my own, I died poor, alone, cancer.
Mary, dear, this life gives and takes, gives and takes. You gave so much.
Yet history took so much more. Her male counterparts all too easily forgot her. Members of the Royal Geological Society she could never join. They honored her with a few paltry words. Hardly the credit she deserved.
But I think maybe it was worth it to walk those beaches, to uncover creatures of the past, and to dream of the next great discovery. It was worth it to live a life drenched in salt water, in wonder, and in science.
Mary grins, content, flanked by those who love and admire her. The lights fall. End of play. Wonderful. I would like to invite the cast of Shells to turn on their cameras and take a digital bow. So the cast of Shells, we had Grace, Isabella, Laddie, Dean, Zoe, and Grace. Stage directions were read by myself, Jay Hayden, who also directed the piece. Thank you all so much, friends, and we'll see you soon. So our second piece in our Young Playwrights Festival tonight is The Storyteller by Rachel Radloff. The Storyteller is in many ways a recontextualization of the Grimm brothers' classic Snow White and Rose Red. Rachel is a rising senior and a longtime student of the Young Playwrights class. Rachel will also be a high school intern with the Rose come fall. For those of you at home, we ask for your patience while we set up our next reading. Thank you.
The Storyteller by Rachel Radloff. Scene 1. Lights come up slowly to reveal a library. Little girl talks from offstage. The storyteller and other characters act out the story of the storyteller.
Once upon a time, there was a librarian, also known as the storyteller. They would tell stories to kids day by day. They lived to tell an author's tale woven with words of wisdom and bravery. They would help a child find a book and morph it into a tale of magic. They were happy and energetic. But one by one, the children stopped coming.
Other characters exit slowly as she speaks, leaving the storyteller alone in a big, empty library.
They would go to school and had forgotten of their wondrous adventures that they had had as they began to, well, grow up. The library became a study place where they would only do homework. Most of the time, they didn't even recognize the old librarian. However, they did remember the stories he once told them. Then, one day, a little girl and her older sister were looking around town when the little girl noticed the old library left forgotten in the neighborhood. They hadn't been there before and decided to peek inside.
Little girl and older sister begin to tentatively walk into the library.
Hello?
Hello there.
Hi. We're looking for the librarian.
Oh, that's me. I'm the librarian and the storyteller.
Storyteller? Don't interrupt them. That's rude.
Oh, it's okay. I appreciate the curiosity. And yes, I'm the storyteller. I tell stories to those who ask for it. And I can sing and dance and act or anything to do with the arts.
The arts?
The arts. You know, like singing, dancing, acting, and all that. It's really fun. You should try it.
Our mom says that's a talent few people have.
Everyone can do the arts. They just have to learn how to harness their creativity.
Oh, so what does that mean?
Here, pick a story and I'll show you.
The sisters search amongst the books in the library before one catches their eye. Little girl picks up a book titled Rose Red and Snow White. She looks at her older sister, who takes the book from her, looking it over in slight confusion.
What's this one about?
Ah, the Grimm brothers' old tale of Rose Red and Snow White. A very interesting fable indeed, though not to be confused with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah.
Very well.
Sure.
Once upon a time, there were two sisters named Rose Red and Snow White, who were the best of friends. They owned a small cottage in the forest where they lived in peace. Animals loved them as friends. Deer would prance around them, and even the skunks seemed serene in their loving presence. They helped many travelers that came through the woods, offering food, shelter, and comfort. These two sisters were happy and content with their lives. It was just another day when
Rose Red and Snow White are warming up by the fire, as it is winter, and cleaning their small hut. Bear knocks on the door.
Maybe a weary traveler.
It could also be a poor beggar looking for work. I will answer it, sister.
Snow White answers the door. Rose Red puts kindling in the fire. Both are startled by the bear.
Please do not be afraid. I only asked for a place to get warm for tonight. For the wind and snow are awfully cold.
Poor bear. Please come in. Forgive us. We are sorry for being rude. We should not judge one by their appearance. Have your spot by the fire, where you will be safe and warm in our humble home.
I will prepare a meal for each of us.
Thank you. You are truly too kind. The bear became a good friend, and the sisters quickly learned of his kind soul. One day, while Snow White was asleep,
Snow White is sleeping when the soft strumming of a ukulele is heard. She awakens and slips out of bed. She walks to center stage. Bear enters from stage left, quietly strumming a ukulele. Snow White is entranced by the music, but is also curious about it.
What are you doing? That sound, it's quite lovely.
That would be music. Would you like to learn?
I don't know. It looks difficult.
You never know unless you try.
Okay. I'll give it a try.
Bear silently starts to teach Snow White how to play. She slowly improves. And then Storyteller stands up and the book characters freeze.
Oh dear me, look at the time. I bet your parents are waiting for you.
Oh yeah. Thanks. See you tomorrow.
Of course, if you want to.
Then we will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful night.
Farewell, my friends.
Storyteller exits. The girl takes center stage. Scene 2.
The next day, the little girl was on her way to the library. She had gone ahead of her sister, only to wind up being chased by some other kids from school.
Little girl is running from Bully 1 and Bully 2.
Look at her, running from her problems.
And look at her cry. Such a baby.
Go away!
Nuh-uh.
You're not getting away that easily.
The bullies start to beat up little girl as she curls up into a ball and sobs. Storyteller enters and pries the bullies off of her.
What do you think you're doing?
Sir,
Parents.
You know our parents?
Yes, everyone comes to the library at some point.
But
you're not getting away with this.
Come on, let's just go. It's not worth getting in more trouble.
Thank you.
Come on, let's get you cleaned up. Do you have your sister's number? You should call her.
Little girl and Storyteller enter the library. Storyteller hands little girl a cloth and a first aid kit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, can I hear more of the story while I,
Of course.
Little girl smiles and Storyteller starts reading the book.
The little sisters and the bear became great friends, and the bear came around often that winter. He continued to teach Snow White every time he visited, and she became a beautiful ukulele player. Until one day, when the leaves were green and the once frosted ground was covered in soft grass and wildflowers. Friends, I am afraid I will no longer be able to come. I have riches to guard from a greedy heart. I bid my farewell, fair maidens. May fate let us meet again. So the bear went on his way, and though Rose Red and Snow White missed him dearly, they felt hopeful they would meet the bear again.
Snow White begins to walk, holding her ukulele. Dwarves enter.
hey, you.
Me?
Yes, you. What are you doing with that ukulele? You can't play it.
But
Your playing must be the ugliest in the entire kingdom.
why are you so cruel? That's so rude.
Snow White, are you okay? I heard shouting.
Because... Ugh, whatever. It's not worth it.
Dwarfs exit. Older sister looks at little girl in surprise.
Oh my god, what happened to you? Are you okay?
I'm okay. There were some kids at school who were hurting me, but Storyteller scared them away. They were so cool.
We're definitely telling Mom and Dad, but for now, I'm glad you're okay. Thank you for taking care of her.
I just did what any good person would do. It's getting dark out, You should probably get home.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Little girl exits with her sister fussing over her in concern. Storyteller smiles, sets the book aside, and exits as well. Stage lights dim, showing it's nighttime. Bullies enter with spray cans and a grin. Stage black. Scene 3.
While the bullies tried to stop her, the little girl and her sister continued to go to the library to learn the arts, and the storyteller continued to read them the story. Until one day, they visited the old library, only to find Storyteller scrubbing cruel words off the brick wall.
Little girl enters and sees the storyteller scrubbing off spray paint on the library. There is a bucket beside him.
Hey, what's that?
It's nothing. I think I'm going to retire soon.
What does that mean?
It means he's not to be the storyteller anymore.
What? Why?
I'm getting old, losing the ability to put the books away. This graffiti isn't helping. It hurts my back to scrub it.
Little girl takes a rag from the bucket and begins helping scrub the graffiti.
Storyteller, what happened?
Oh, just some kids messing around, using art for their own purposes.
I bet it was those bullies. They want to get back at you for helping me. They're so mean.
Perhaps you can change that.
Huh?
I think you need to hear the rest of the story. I could definitely use a break too.
Storyteller guides little girl into the library.
All right, so where were we? Oh, yes. Time went by. Snow White and Rose Red forgot the door, and the sisters were joyful. So life went on, and Rose Red and Snow White were surprised to one day see the door screaming from within an eagle's grasp.
Ah! Help!
Eagle swerves away angrily and drops dwarves who scream. But Rose Red catches him, saving his life.
Oh, dear me. Are you okay?
You saved us? Even though we were so mean? Why?
Because it's the right thing to do.
You're right. I'm sorry. We've been so mean.
There's something I think we need to do.
He pulls out a spell book and raises his hand.
For Habentis Maleficia.
Bear enters, throws off bear costume, and puts on a crown, making him prince.
Rose Red, Snow White, thank you so much. I am actually the king's son. Those dwarves bewitched me into a bear and stole all my treasures, but thanks to your kindness, they have set me free. The spell is broken. I would like to ask for you to join us in your palace as a hero, Snow White. Not only for saving me, but also as a maiden who aided her prince in trial. Winter was not easy on me, and you and your sister are to thank for my survival. If you like, you will also be known as the court musician. And I would like to offer you a place in the palace as well, Rose Red. For you are my savior, and I thank you for your kindness as well.
Yes, of course.
Eventually, Snow White became known as the best musician in all the land, while Rose Red became known far and wide for her baking skills. The dwarves, after apologizing, learned how to be kind from the two sisters, and they all lived happily ever after. The end.
Storyteller closes the book.
The end.
So you're saying if my sister is nice to those kids, then they'll be nice to her?
We'll never know until you try.
I'll give it a try then.
I guess that makes sense. But I'll be there, and the moment they even start to think about hurting her, I'll put an end to it.
Scene 4.
The next day at school, the little girl set out to complete her mission.
School bell rings, and little girl walks over to the bully's lunch table.
Hi.
What do you want?
I noticed you forgot your lunch. Here, have some of mine.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you.
Just wanted to ask if you wanted to hang out with me and my sister in the school library later.
What? Why?
Because you two seem lonely, and it's the right thing to do.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Okay, see you later.
See ya. Huh. She seems nice.
Even though we hurt her?
I don't know. I just know that we've made a friend. We haven't had anyone besides each other for a while.
You're right.
Thus, the first part of her mission was successful.
Scene 5.
So, what do you want to do?
I was hoping me and my sister could read you a story.
A story?
Yeah, we can act it out.
Actually, that sounds like fun.
Upon a time, there are two sisters, Red Rose, Rose Red, and Snow White.
Little girl, older sister, and bullies begin to become friends, acting out scenes in the story. Though the bullies are hesitant at first, now they're just having a great time. In the process, they run off stage, and little girl enters on stage dressed as storyteller too.
And so, the young girl and her sister taught her two classmates how to be kind. And by the end of the day, the trio were the best of friends. When they had to leave, one of her new friends came up and tapped her on the shoulder.
I'm sorry for everything I've done. What? Wait, what's your name?
Call me storyteller.
Little girl watches as bully nods and leaves. She removes the storyteller's disguise.
Don't worry, storyteller. I'll continue your legacy.
Little girl walks towards one side of the stage with a bounce in her step. Older sister stands there and opens her arms. Little girl hugs her sister. Then they exit, and the stage goes black. End of play.
Wonderful. So I would like to invite the cast of The Storyteller to turn their cameras off and take a digital bow. In the cast of The Storyteller, we have Emmy, Grace, Marie, Brianna, Dom, and MJ. So stage directions were read by Karina Dumars, who was also the director for the piece. Thank you all so much, friends. We'll see you soon. And so for all of you at home, we are moving on to our third script tonight, which is Trencham by Joe Godel. Trencham is a farcical take on classic mafia stories like Goodfellas or The Godfather. The story is also a backhanded love letter to the state of New Jersey. Joe is a newer student to the Young Playwrights class, but an avid youth actor in the Council Bluffs area, and we're very lucky to have him along. For those of you at home, we ask for your patience while we set up our next reading. Thank you.
Trencham by Joe Godel. Scene 1. New Jersey alleyway. Traffic noises in the background. Rat walks on stage, not noticing the audience.
Stupid cats always stealing my stupid money. Next time I see one of those cats, I'll show them that I'm a mean, flea-ray machine. I'll put them in a pound. We'll see how those bums 9 lives stand up to a canine.
Notices the audience.
Don't you see my money, Mr. Tinkerbell? Oh, humans. What are you looking at? Go on, beat it. My ancestors started the bubonic plague. Don't think I won't carry on their legacy. Wait. You want a story? You want a story? Well, geez, I'm sure in a rush, being a rat and all. I don't even know any stories. Why must you torture me? The lights, I can feel it. It's so bright. Ma, is that you? These horrible, horrible people can't hurt me anymore. Wait, I got it. Never mind, Ma, I don't need you. Anyways, a story of love, betrayal, and cannoli. A story that takes place on these brutal streets of New Jersey. And who better to tell you a story about New Jersey than a mangy, disease-infested rat? Now let me think. Well, I guess I should tell you how this all started. It began back 20 years ago when...
The president issued a cannoli prohibition? Where am I going to get my sweet Italian delicacy now?
This is outrageous.
Give me that. A cannoli prohibition. Huh. I could work with this. You two, come with me.
You see, that's Mother Fresco. She wanted to make a few extra bucks on the side, and with a country star of its Italian delicacy, she started a cannoli mafia. This mafia started off small, simply canning cannoli for secrecy, then peddling off to some bum, but soon it became an empire. Controlling the entire state of New Jersey with an iron fist, no one could stop the Fresco family. That is until...
Lights go out. Mother Fresco screams. When the lights come on, everyone else has gone except for goons 1 and 2. Mother Fresco is dead on the ground.
Mother Fresco is dead!
Oh, cannoli!
Goon smacks Goon 2 on the head. They run off.
Mother Fresco dead. Her sons took control of the family. And wait a minute, I can't tell you the entire story. What's the fun in that? Well, who better to tell you about what happened next than the people who were there? So sit back, relax, and...
Goon 2 runs back on, slamming into Rat. Lights out. Scene 2. Fresco family living room. The room is filled with golden, elegant glow. A throne-like chair is in the center of the room. Tommy paces in front of it.
Late again.
Last night might have been the greatest night of my life. Johnny really does know how to throw a party.
Do you see that entire barrel of cannoli? I've never seen a human jaw unhinged before.
You two get back to work.
Johnny rushes on stage like a madman, making the sound that could only be assumed to be a dying velociraptor before stopping in front of Tommy.
Rah! Hiya, knucklehead.
Johnny!
Hey, fellas.
Goons walk off.
Johnny, can you please explain to me what is this?
Of course, my dim-minded younger brother. That Was the Fresco family war cry to strike fear into our enemies.
Well, it's ridiculous and completely unprofessional, and please never do it again.
Were you scared?
I'm always scared of you. You're getting off task. You're late again.
Sorry, I was attacked by an unbeatable foe. I barely escaped with my life.
For the last time, Johnny, your covers are not a bearable foe.
The worst Dutch oven imaginable. Plus, I'm only a few minutes late. What's so bad about that?
Every second that you waste is a second that we can be expanding our influence. Now, to be serious, we have some important things to discuss.
You said that yesterday.
And the day before, and the day before, and the day before that. And yet somehow this conundrum is still important. Now, there's been a serious problem with some of the goons and...
Tommy, what are you doing? You can't give me boring news like this. Come on, make it interesting.
He whistles. Two goons walk on and hands the two of them long breadsticks.
One of these days, I'm going to shoot you.
Shoot me? I'm allergic to lead. What are you trying to do, kill me?
They begin to fence.
As I was saying, some of these goons are starting throwing parties on a regular basis. They are making a total mess. They aren't focused at the task at hand.
My name is Johnny Fresco. You ate my toast. Prepare to die.
Not mention thee, they are becoming less disciplined and acting like a bunch of bubbly baboons.
Parry, thrust.
And I have an overhead rumors that both of you and the goons are eating cannoli, the stuff that we need to make a living.
Johnny sweeps his legs with a baguette.
Winner! And the crowd calls out his name, Johnny, Johnny.
Johnny, this place is a mess. You're a mess. Is it really how you want our name to be remembered, with dignity of a rat in the sewers?
Tommy, I'm only 17. You're only 16, and we're running a cannoli mafia that practically controls New Jersey. What about that screams dignity? We should be having the time of our lives.
No, Johnny. Our mother, bless her soul. Would you want us to work to make this mafia the best ever known? Not some place where workers sit around like a bunch of sacks doing nothing.
Oh, come on, Tom. When was the last time you had some fun?
What was the last time that you cared? You spend your whole life in ignorance, as the rest of us, the world, has to make sure that you are pampered.
The rest of the world might have the right idea then.
Johnny, please. I'm begging you. You are the leader of this mafia. You need to start acting it and grow up.
Every day with you, it's be more responsible. Don't throw parties. Don't have fun. Don't chase that rabid cat. Well, you know what? I'm the head of this family, and I'll do what I want. Life is short, Tom. I'm going out in the town. Meet up with some friends. I'll see you later.
You don't have time for that. We have a big shipment coming out here later.
We have time for that whenever. Right now, it's time to have some fun.
Johnny leaves.
Oh, Johnny, why can't you just grow up? Mother?
Mother Fresco runs on stage, spotlighted, a shocked expression on her face in the sight of her home. She wears ragged clothes and is deathly pale. Dirt still on her. A worm sits on her head.
What has happened here?
Ma? What? You're back?
I'm not, sweetie. I'm just a very, very, very angry ghost. What happened here? Did a donkey throw a barnyard bash in here?
Well, you could call him that. You got a little dead skin on your face there.
I'm all dead skin. Ever since I slipped on that can of cannoli. And when I get back, I find my son has turned into a pigsty. Why haven't you disposed of him?
Well, he's family, Ma. I can't just get rid of him.
Sure you can. Ask my 6 husbands.
He's family, even though I have to deal with him rubbing our family's name through the dirt, which is capable of years.
Breaks, parties, going out of town. This isn't what I started. I started a hardworking, distinguished, cannoli peddling mafia. Johnny is ruining my legacy.
What are we going to do about him? I tried to get him to hand over the control to me. He won't listen to my reason. Won't work, and there's no way I could kill him. He's my brother, no matter how dim-witted.
Sometimes you have to get rid of the bad cannoli. For the good of the family, for the good of me, please think about it.
Tommy ponders. Spotlight dims on Mother. She exits.
Goons!
Goons enter.
Things are going to be a little different around here.
Lights go out. Scene 3. Johnny walks the streets, obviously deep in thought, as if he is trying to solve an unsolvable problem.
Tommy.
Johnny stops.
Why is he so uptight all the time? We used to have so much fun together. We used to play and laugh and cry together. Now it's all yelling and stern-faced disappointment. What happened to us?
Blackout. When the lights come back up, young Johnny and Tommy are in the Fresco house, Johnny watching them. The house is more clear this time, less of a mess, but the lights are dimmer and less inviting. They are playing pretend.
Me mateys, time to walk the plank.
You forget one thing. I am an alien!
Ah!
Young Tommy chases young Johnny around, both giggling. Then suddenly, young Tommy falls and begins to cry.
Tommy, are you okay?
I twitched in my leg.
Don't worry. Here, look at this.
Begins doing a strange dance, ending with him pretending to slip and fall. Young Tommy laughs.
See, better like always. Love you, Tommy.
I love you, Johnny.
They hug. Mother Fresco storms in.
What is the meaning of all this ruckus? You two sound like a bunch of mangy dogs up here. And look like them too. Goodness me, husband 2 was not the one I should have gone with.
Don't worry, Ma, we were just playing.
Playing? Why weren't you making cannoli or helping the goons or doing something productive? And what is this, tears? Frescoes don't cry. That's a lesson you have to learn early, young man. We don't show such weakness. We are strong, we are hardworking, we are Frescoes. That's a name I will not allow to be rubbed in the mud. Now both of you better get ready to leave this house or you'll find yourselves on the streets with the rats.
She storms off.
Lousy no good kids. Damn you, husband number 2. Whatever your name was.
Don't listen to her, Tommy. Arr.
I don't want to play no more.
Young Tommy walks off. Young Johnny sits alone for a second. Then young Tommy comes back on.
Tommy, you want to play now?
No, Johnny. I'm learning how to become more like Ma.
Young Tommy walks off. Young Johnny sits alone for a second. This time, grown-up Tommy comes on.
Arr.
Grow up, Johnny.
Tommy walks off, leaving young Johnny and Johnny on stage together.
That's it. I know what I gotta do.
He runs off. Lights go out. Scene 4. Tommy sits in a large chair in the Fresco house. The mess is no longer there, but the lights are dimmed as they were in the flashback. Goons 1 and 2 shuffle in, disgruntled.
Sir, he's here. We'll go back to work as you please.
Yeah, right back to work.
Of course. Well, get out of here. Don't you want to sleep with the rats?
They scramble away. Johnny runs in and they collide.
Jeez.
Sorry, sir.
We didn't see you there, sir.
Sir? What's this sir about? Come on, chumps, you can call me
Johnny.
Goons scramble out.
Tommy. You are just the person I wanted to see. Okay, I know we have not necessarily seen eye to eye on a lot of things, but I want you to have fun again.
Johnny!
Arr, me matey, it's time to walk the plank.
Tommy remains completely silent as Johnny jumps around him, making random noise and acting a fool. Johnny is trying all he can to get the child out of Tommy, but there is no avail.
Ahoy! Shiver me timbers. You are one tough nut to crack, aren't you? Wait, I got it.
Johnny does the same routine he did earlier where he falls at the end.
Enough! Johnny, I wanted you to believe that you can grow up, that you can hold on to the responsibility to be a fresco. I found out my tuition and hoping you would eventually prove me wrong. Grow up! But this has shown me that you can be a child forever. You've been in pain inside for me too long.
Well, if you got a pain in your side, maybe you should see a doctor.
Oh, you have the right treatment right here. I am sorry, John, but I can't wait for you any longer.
Sorry for what? What are you sorry for?
Trench him.
Goons come on stage and begin to take Johnny off.
Trench him? Wait, no, not the pit. Tommy, no, I'm sorry. Tommy, I'm sorry.
Tommy looks away and sits down in the chair. Johnny is dragged out. Scene 5. Cannoli pit. Johnny and Rat eat cannoli. Rat standing on a little platform next to the pit. Johnny is shoulder deep in the cannoli, hanging onto the surface. A lever sits at the side.
And then he chucks me down the pit to eventually rot for the rest of my days. Forever and ever. More cannoli?
No, I'm full. You know, this would be a pretty weird story to have grandkids someday.
I'm not exactly sure if I'm gonna make it out of this to have any, but you go ahead and tell it if you get the chance. I think I've lost him completely now. All I wanted to do was make life fun, exciting. Now I think I've lost him for good.
Well, I mean, yeah. But some people have different ways of showing love. Some people hug you and laugh with you and tell you you'll never be alone. Other people will chuck you like a piece of garbage in a pit filled with cannoli to rot for endlessly eternity. But in the end, it all means love.
I failed him, Rat. I failed him.
Once again, yes, that's true. Completely and totally. But it's also not all your fault. You can't control how a person thinks, how they feel, how they act. It's not possible. They will always do what they want in the end, but you can control you. You can control how you act, what you want, how you think. All of those things you can control. It's not your job to change someone you love. It's your job to care and love them, even when they don't do it for you. It's hard to love someone you hate. It's even harder to love someone who hates you. But you have to stick to the people you care for.
Tommy walks in. Rat notices.
That being said, I love you, new buddy, but not that much.
Points to Tommy, then runs off screaming.
Tommy.
John.
What are you doing down here?
You know, I have to be the one to drain the trench. I have to get rid of the waste.
Tommy pulls the lever. Johnny begins to sink.
Tommy, I'm sorry. I know how much all this means to you. I'm sorry I didn't take that into consideration. All I wanted was to make you happy, to make you smile like you used to. I know I shouldn't have forced it, and I'm sorry.
Johnny begins to sink faster.
Crap. I'm sorry, Tom. I'm sorry for that time I accidentally stole all your pants. I'm sorry for that time I bought a giraffe that almost trampled you. I'm sorry for accidentally giving you a snake for your birthday. And
Johnny is almost completely under.
I'm sorry for not being a good enough brother.
Johnny goes under. All that is left is his hand, slowly moving down. Spotlight on Tommy. Johnny's hand is frozen. Mother Fresco appears.
There it is. The Fresco family is saved. I knew there was a reason I loved you. I guess something good came out of that no good husband. What's the matter, kid? You look like you just watched someone die.
Young Tommy and Johnny walk on stage spotlighted. They start chasing each other as they did before, laughing and giggling. Then they both fall down laughing. Young Johnny hugs his brother.
Ma, I can't do this.
What? Have you gone mad? How could you throw away our cannoli mafia?
Love you, Tommy.
I love you, Johnny.
Spotlight fades. Mother Fresco, young Johnny, and young Tommy all exit. Time unfreezes.
Because sometimes sacrifices have to be made, the things that you love, even if they're bad cannoli.
Tommy rushes to the side of the pit and pulls screaming Johnny out of the pit.
Ah!
Johnny!
Ah!
Johnny!
What? Tommy, can't you see I'm dying? Wait, I'm not dying. I'm sorry, Tommy. I swear from now on, I'll be a serious stiff. I'll do anything you say with the utmost dignity and respect. I'll even take the H out of my name to let people know I'm really serious.
No, Johnny. I'm the one that should be apologizing. I grew up too fast and I forgot how to have fun. I forgot how to be a kid and I forgot my brother. Can you forgive me?
Of course, Tommy. What kind of brother would I be if I couldn't forgive them for attempting to murder me? Ready to get back to running a mafia?
Of course, but this time I want to enjoy it your way.
No, we do this our way.
I love you, Johnny.
Love you, Knucklehead.
They embrace. Rat returns.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a couple of no-good cats to put in their place. Good night, everybody.
Lights go out. The end.
Wonderful. I'd like to invite the cast of Trencham to turn their cameras on and take a digital bow. So in the cast of Trencham, we had Anna, Jose, Dean, Zoe, MJ, and Natalie. Stage directions were read by Colleen Hudson Pace, who was also the director of the piece. Thank you all so much, friends. We'll see you soon. So for those of you at home, we are now coming to our final script of the night, which is Out for Blood by Otto Fox. Out for Blood is a critique of institutional wealth and capitalist industrialization with a trademark level of wit and humor. Otto is a repeat student of the Young Playwrights class and was recently on the Rose main stage this season as Peter in The Diary of Anne Frank. For those of you at home, we ask that you have some patience as we set up our final reading for the night. Thank you so much.
Out for blood. Scene 1. Fireplace background. A background set of a fireplace, decorated with many ornaments and photos, awards, and trinkets. A scream. Will comes out from stage right, frazzled.
When you're raised in a family as wealthy as mine, the Astor Grays, you quickly learn constant vigilance. You're taught it's survival of the fittest. That everyone you meet is out for blood.
Will sits down on a stool downstage.
When he first arrived,
a door opens backstage and a well put together, incredibly likable person walks through.
I instinctively assumed all three.
A group of people go to meet the person, cautiously at first, but once a hand is shaken, the crowd rejoices.
It wasn't until soon thereafter that I'd be proven right.
As the crowd gathers the body and takes it off stage, the stranger goes upstage.
Hello, my name is
K.G. Parker, also known as
Park.
He claims to be.
I am
the son of great-grandmother Astor Gray's nephew's sister's daughter.
The crowd returns on stage, dressed for mourning, as a coffin is brought on.
And you may ask yourself, why would one of the wealthiest families in the nation invite a supposed long-lost relative with no real proof? Well, you see, the answer is actually quite simple.
I'm incredibly rich.
Park winks and goes back to join the funeral. A family member stands out among the crowd.
What a pity.
In contrast to my family,
so good of Park to be the only one with her to catch the body as she fell.
I wasn't so quick to trust our so-called new cousin.
What a freak accident.
The crowd exits, but Will leaves his stool and stops Helen Maud.
Mother, a word, please.
What did we say about using that word, William?
Please is for people who can't pay for what they want.
Yes. Now, what do you need?
Mother, about this cousin, this K.G. Parker.
A family calls him Park.
Yes, about that. Do you not find it odd that the day after Park arrives, Felicity is dead? Or that when such an event occurred, this new cousin, this stranger...
Park is family. Honestly, William, how heartless can you be? Accusing your own blood of what? Murder? Is that it?
Mother, I'm just saying that perhaps...
What input could you possibly have on this? You are 19, William. It is high time you get a hold of yourself. Do you know what your older brother Charles accomplished by your age with our money? That wasn't rhetorical.
He created a Pacific trading system for
papaya. Yes. Alexandra and Virginia, both very successful. In this country's economy, beggars in the street, we must be strong. This family has a tradition of success, and I will not let you break it. We got here because we know hard work. Park, too. And maybe, when you get your act together, you'll get as much attention as he does.
Yes, Mother. She's right. I'm an Astor Gray. An Astor Gray! I will not let you down, Mother. I won't. And I will not let this K.G. Parker steal our fortune and destroy this family.
Scene 2. The stage goes dark. Besides a single door on stage left, Will walks through. Lights up on the rest of the stage where Park and Lloyd Christopher are found by a window.
Now, what I've really enjoyed is brilliantly landscaped garden just here. The rose is absolutely fantastic.
Yes, yes.
Park pushes Lloyd out of the window. There is a scream. Then silence.
Oh my God!
Will, lovely to see you.
Don't will me. Oh my, someone come quick, help. Oh my God, please.
The family members come rushing in.
Oh, hello, Park.
No, stop. He killed Lloyd Christopher.
Lloyd's dead?
The family crowds around the window in which Lloyd Christopher was pushed. Will is lost in his family until he pushes away from the group and stands downstage.
The Astorgrays proceeded to look at the window, finding Lloyd Christopher in not the most attractive fashion.
Like one of Salvador Dali's clocks. Like debris from the Oregon Trail.
Like a dropped crab rangoon.
And when asked what happened, any explanation I might have provided fell on deaf ears.
He fell while admiring the roses, poor thing.
How tragic.
Truly.
Will joins the group as they begin to part into a semicircle. Two members begin sparring with fencing swords, but the spotlight is on Will and Helen.
I don't think this is the time to...
William, it is our day off. We are enjoying this spring as a family, bonding time. With so many wild, untimely deaths, we must enjoy what we can.
I agree, but I don't think that sparring is...
The pair in the middle have left, and Park enters the middle.
I'm quite myself, believe it or not. Ever so talented you are, Park. Well, I don't care to brag.
The family laughs, sans Will.
Right.
Will, I didn't see you there. Say, how about a match between you and I? A bit of one.
Oh, please, as if I'd ever...
Of course he'll decline. Never did have a backbone, that one.
Fine.
And for a little extra challenge, away with these picks and use a real man's weapon.
Park pulls out two actual swords.
You don't expect me to trust you with those...
Ah, yes, I see what you mean.
Don't worry your pretty little head, my dear. We're both adults. Catch.
Park throws the sword at Will like a javelin, out for blood. Will shrieks and dodges it. The sword falls to the floor. Embarrassed, he picks it up, looks to the family, and frantically gestures between the sword and Park. The Astorgrays shrug. Will huffs.
You see, I don't even know how to play, so...
Hopefully his 5 years of sparring classes will do him some good.
Come again.
Right.
Park starts taking Will by surprise.
We are starting.
Of course.
They begin to sword fight. Park going for far fatal blows that Will narrowly escapes.
I knew it! You're trying to kill me!
What would give you that idea?
You're after our fortune. I've seen it myself. Lloyd Christopher?
Tragedy.
And Felicity, too.
She will.
And what kind of cousin, no proof in hand for that title, by the way, shows up just before these occurrences?
A coincidental one, it seems.
Park goes for Will's head, but Will ducks.
But what if you were right? What would happen if I told you, right at this moment, have their blood on my head and soon yours?
The family laughs.
Oh ho, Park does love a good joke.
Well,
Will gasps as Park goes for his legs. Will jumping over the sword.
Right.
Listen, this family is important. Sure, they're callous and cold, and they treat me like garbage, but no one deserves to die, do they? No one deserves this death, and you will not take our fortune.
Will narrowly misses Park with his sword.
Oh, Will, you were so close.
Just then, Park knocks the sword out of Will's hand. The sword then proceeds to kill Xavier in its projectile. The family is astonished, and the stage goes to red as Will goes downstage. The family begins to split into three parts at different sections of the stage. At the first group, Alexandra sits in a chair with a cup. The second, Charles is studying a grandfather clock. The third, Virginia has a pet dog. Will takes out a newspaper.
Newest headlines of the local paper.
Alexandra takes a drink and goes limp in her chair. Screams off stage.
Alexandra Astergray. Deadly cocktail leaves famous family shaken and stirred.
The grandfather clock falls on Charles. Screams.
Ah! Charles Astergray. It was just his time.
Virginia's dog goes for her neck.
Virginia Astergray, proving it truly is a dog-eat-dog world. And with all this death, you'd hope there'd be mourning across the city, grief up to your knees, and I'm sorry for your losses everywhere you look. But I have yet to see a single tear shed. Here, look at this. Former Astergray Enterprise employees rejoice with arrival of new management, pays raised, manageable hours. Laborers win against court case for the maintenance of work conditions after death of tyrant Virginia Astergray. Crime rate falls as revealed mob boss Charles Astergray's passing. I look within myself for an answer to all this madness. I try to find sorrow, some shard of loss, of surprise, maybe fury, to those who rejoice, but all I can find is the memory of Park's words etched into my brain. Is it such a bad thing?
Scene 3. The scene changes as Will leans on a balcony, still looking at the newspaper. It is night, and you can hear the commotion of the city. Park joins him.
Will?
Oh, it's just you. It's you!
Calm yourself, man. I'm simply enjoying the beautiful view. Just like yourself.
What?
Getting his bearings and turning to leave.
I do not want you anywhere near me. Do you hear me?
Look, Will, stop.
What is it that you want? What could you possibly want?
I request but a conversation.
And then my life, I assume.
Please, a word.
Fine, Park, fine. But I hope you know I am staying far from that ledge.
I mean you no harm. I'm only intrigued. These past few days at the untimely death of your relatives.
Untimely.
At the untimely death of your relatives, God rest their souls, I noticed something. At the mere thought of a family member's death, or in your case, family members plural, many would be consumed by the grief of mourning, but you only seemed angered. In fact, none of the Astergrays seemed to feel much of anything at all.
Well then, why don't you ask one of them?
You, my adorably paranoid newfound friend, is the only one who seems to hold any common sense.
So you admit that you've been after the fortune.
And you say that, fortune, do me a favor, Will, and look at the world before you. Look upon the people in the streets.
Yes, I was assigned to this room because no one else wanted the sight of despair filling their mornings.
It's not just a sight, Will. These are the lives of people, of human beings, with lives outside your contemplative balcony endeavors. Starving, dying, nowhere to go but their knees, left to the mercy of people like you.
Hey, you're wealthy too, aren't you? Parading around with my family, all fawning over the millionaire who stepped through the doorway. How old are you?
I'm 21.
Just 2 years older than I, already the world on his shoulders and still perfect posture.
So you accuse me of murder for fortune, but you still think I'm as rich as they say I am?
What? But,
Will, you're a smart man. And for some reason, I think a good one. You're trying so hard to uphold what you believe, at least, is right. I can respect that. I can. I know you can. I know it's in there to see a perspective that differs from the one you've been raised on. And I don't want to. Look, what I'm trying to say is why? Just why should the Astergrays, why should you be in your cushy life with more rooms, more food, more crap than you could ever possibly ever need or use? Well, this continues by the day. What makes you so different from those down there?
Mother said that we deserve it.
And they deserve this?
I never considered that. I guess.
You just have to consider whether to be the dragon guarding the gold or the knight wielding the sword.
I don't understand.
Good afternoon.
What was that?
Scene 4. A canoe appears on stage. Seated are Helen, Maud, and Park. Will joins them. Will and Park have a paddle.
Sure is quiet out here.
How wonderful to enjoy a Sunday outing with the family. So sad there are only you and I left, Park.
Will, did you say something?
I'm also here.
Who said that? Ah, yes, Will too.
Why, thank you for having me.
You are always welcome, my dear. And what a wonderful day to be welcomed. The river is simply splendid at this time. The oil resting at the surface really gives it a colorful sheen, don't you think?
Helen Maud turns her back. Park uses this as an opportunity to try and strike her on the head with the paddle, but Will blocks it with his. Will tries to grab Park, just Helen Maud turns her head. Park quickly puts his arm around Will and his hand around his mouth.
What was that?
Nothing, just two very close friends having a whale of a time. Whale, water, we're on a river, get it?
They all laugh. Helen Maud is the only one genuine. The laughing quickly stops, except for Will, who is a terrible liar, who does not know when he's supposed to stop. He too eventually ceases, but he notices Park's arm still around him. He starts awkwardly coughing, and they go back to their original positions on opposite ends of the canoe. Helen Maud is oblivious.
We do love a laugh.
The scene goes on as Park repeatedly tries to kill Helen Maud, and Will stopping him, all the while Helen Maud only narrowly missing the ruckus. As this happens, the sound of rushing water gets louder, and the canoe rocks.
What is that up ahead?
It's the rapids.
The rapids?
The rapids?
Oh,
As
this
Will
canoe
and-
better not get any damage. The thing costs more than most of my employees' salaries. I mean, I could lower their wages, meaning to do that recently anyway. Oh, did you just see that? A splash of water on my skirt. What would I do if this got ruined? Get a new one? Actually, that'd be quite good. Give me an excuse to tailor a nice magenta gown. Wait, I can just buy a new one anyway, couldn't I? There's nothing quite stopping me. Yes, I do think magenta looks quite nice.
As if you hadn't known.
Care to expand on that?
You, who's been trying to kill us all week, didn't plan for this evening to end in a murderously rigid, watery mess.
Why would I join you on the death boat?
Self-sacrifice?
Jesus, Will, just get the paddle.
They start rowing frantically.
This isn't doing anything.
Mind I ask what else you have in mind?
Well, I've never been this close to death before.
The canoe gets so rocky, Helen Maud falls out. She hangs on the edge.
Mother!
If we stop rowing, we'll all be killed.
Help me up, you half-wit!
Will goes to help Helen Maud, but pauses. Just as the whole stage pauses, Will stands where he is.
So, this is it, isn't it? The climax, the big drama. I know the angel and the devil sit on my shoulders, but for the life of me, I couldn't tell you who's who.
He looks around at his situation.
Okay, maybe not for the life of me.
He looks to Helen Maud.
One part of me says family is the most important, no matter what. Wealth, loyalty, and submission are the most valuable things in your life. To keep your grip so firm on what you deserve that your bones break.
He looks at Park.
And the other tells me to throw it all away. Tells me of compassion, justice, and the care for another human being. It's one or the other.
He goes to reach for Helen Maud, but stops himself.
There's another side, though, who spent his childhood days walking along this river and knows perfectly well that it's not, in fact, one or the other, who just happened to remember that if the canoe is tilted just so, the shore is close enough and we could easily make it back safely on land. And that side couldn't care less.
Will takes Helen Maud's hands.
Or the knight wielding the sword.
Unable to hear from rushing water,
What? What?
Will pushes her off, leaving her to die in the river. Park stops rowing in shock.
What are you doing? Keep rowing.
Park and Will roar furiously. The light fades, and there's a spotlight downstage that Will steps into.
We did make it to the nearby riverbank. With the rest of the family gone, I was left to take hold of the rest of the companies, the vast enterprises, the moneymakers that got us here in the first place. Though perhaps not quite in the exact route initially desired, I was finally what Mother had always wanted me to be. I was no longer the black sheep, as there were no white sheep left. I had unlimited power, connection, and command over modern society as we know it. And I gave it away. I gave it all away, and nothing earth-shattering happened. I didn't fall into poverty. I wasn't shamed into reclusion. It was good. I saw real change, real lives improved. My sudden control of government connections and effect on the average working citizen all put to some good use under my influence. Under Lion Park's influence, really. Park and I? Where is Park now, you may ask? Imprisoned? 6 feet under? Abroad?
Park is seated at a small table center stage. Will joins him. They share a drink.
What are you going to do now, Park?
Oh, on to the next family, I guess.
Wait, is this like a regular thing for you?
No, I'm kidding. Sort of. Somewhat surprised I got this far. I should definitely be in jail. Legally. Anyways, I should get going.
Park stand. Will joins him with the start.
It's been something.
Will offers a handshake.
Yes, it surely has been something.
Park nods his head and leaves the stage. Will sits and looks contemplative. Park returns to the stage.
Hey, we're gonna start a homoerotic secret relationship, right? This is where this is going.
Oh, no doubt.
End of play.
Wonderful. I'd like to invite the cast of Out for Blood to turn on their cameras to take a digital bow. Wonderful. In the cast of Out for Blood, we had Mary, Emily, Riley, Grace, Marie, and Dom. Stage directions were read by L.D. Copeland, who was also the director of the piece. Thank you all so much, friends. Which brings us to the end of our night. Thank you all so much for joining us for Night B of our Digital Young Playwrights Festival. If a teen you know in the Omaha area has a passion for bringing stories to life, we would love to work with them in a future Young Playwrights class. In many ways, we're all in uncertain times right now, and so us at the Rose are thankful that you can join us tonight for a bit of certainty. We're also thankful to our young writers and performers for coming together for this new and exciting foray into the world of digital performance. Theater in any form finds magic in congregation and community, and as we all learn to navigate the new conditions of our reality, us at the Rose are thankful for continued community, support, and love. Sarah Rule once said that the theater is one of the few places in the bright and quiet world where we can sit in the dark together to be awake. More than ever, we've learned the importance of staying awake and looking towards a brighter future. So in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and take care. Thanks for joining us tonight, and have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you.